Welcome to Inside Marquette Basketball here at the Al McGuire Center on the campus of Marquette University. I'm Sophia Minnaert, joined by Marquette's head coach, Shaka Smart. And coach, everything is clicking for your team right now. You're riding a 5-game winning streak and coming off of a win over the weekend on National Marquette Day. It's always one of the games that the fans are really looking forward to, right, when you look at the season schedule. So you're 2-0 on Marquette Day against Butler, but for you, that day, for your team, kind of what does that day mean to you guys?
It's a lot of excitement. And before I got to Marquette, I wasn't familiar with National Marquette Day. So now being here, first of all, you know, so many folks come back to Milwaukee, alums come back for games, and then there's a lot of prospective students that always come to that game. So it's a chance to connect our past with our present and our future. We're really grateful. The energy in the building was phenomenal.
Nearly 18,000 people at the game. It was the 4th largest crowd at Pfizer Forum, and you've seen that excitement around your team grow, right, from the start of the season to now, just how much the fan base has rallied around this team.
Well, we're grateful for our fans. Our fans have been great from the beginning of the year, honestly. I think maybe what's changed is people's expectations of how good they think our team can be or should be. We're really grateful for the support we have. The home games, we feel like there's a real advantage in terms of the energy that we're given from our students and our crowd. And it's hard to believe we only have 3 home games left.
Well, the Butler game on National Marquette Day, you were able to come away with a win, and there were, you know, you said it was not by any means your team's best offensive game, but this defense has been so strong for you guys, especially over the last couple of wins. Butler, it was unique. It was the first time you guys had seen them this year. So how did they challenge you from that perspective?
Well, they actually took a page out of Villanova's book and defended our pick and roll actions the same way as Villanova, which had been, you know, pretty effective for Villanova. Actually going all the way back to the DePaul game, when we come out of a 1-week break in between games and we went up to DePaul, and the defense that our guys played, I thought, was terrific. We did have an offensive explosion in the second half of that game, which allowed us to put up a really good offensive number. But I think the last 3 games, our defensive effort and energy and connectivity has been very good, and we're going to need that as we go into the stretch run here at Big East play.
And the theme of the Butler game was to play vicious. I know that's, you know, violence has been a theme for you guys at times. And why was vicious the word that you guys wanted to embody for that game?
Well, Sophia, it's a different theme for every game, so it's definitely challenging to come up with sometimes a different way to say the same thing. You know, I use a lot of synonyms, but, you know, for me, I kind of looked up that word, and the definition was deliberately cruel and violent. And obviously this is all in a sports context. You know, you never want to be cruel to people like in normal life. You never want to be violent, you know, with anyone off the floor. But, you know, if you put it in a basketball context and you're able to contextualize, you don't want to be particularly kind to your opponent on the floor. You don't want to be too nice. You know, you want to be deliberately tough on them. You want to be really, really aggressive. And so we talked about 3 things: vicious eyes, vicious stance, and vicious talk. And those are all things under our control. And obviously those have a lot to do with the defensive end. And I thought our guys did a good job of bringing that to start the game. There were some ups and downs within the game, but I thought for the most part our defensive effort was very good. You know, there's a clip of Stevie on one of the last possessions on defense flying around and doing what Stevie does.
It felt like he had his hands all over the ball. I don't know how many deflections he got in that single possession alone, but is that the kind of possession that embodies how you want your guys to play?
Yeah,
with that intensity?
It's interesting, Sophia. I learned after the game that he played that hard because he was mad at me, which is like, hey, listen, there's different forms of motivation that players can take at different times throughout the season and throughout games. And I had subbed him out previous to that and then put him back in. And we were actually in a zone defense. We were in a zone. I've never seen this before, Sophia. He guarded on the basketball 4 different players throughout that possession. It was basically like whoever had the ball, Stevie was guarding him. He was like, no, you other guys can't guard him, I got him. And as you mentioned, he had multiple deflections. And just the energy that he played with you could feel the crowd's connectivity with him, and you could hear their reaction to each time he aggressively approached the ball.
Chase Ross was the domino of the game against Butler, and you keep saying, like, he is a dude. Even as a freshman, he's showing up in big ways for your team. What do you like about what Chase did against Butler?
Energy. He did a great job, getting in some gaps, driving lanes with the basketball. The exciting thing about Chase is he has these flashes of brilliance, and some of it's his athleticism, some of it's his strength and aggressiveness, and sometimes just a natural feel that he brings to the game. But at the same time, he's got so much room for growth. I told him yesterday, we weren't in this room, but we were in a room in this building, and I said, if the ceiling is your true potential and the floor is where you were when you came to Marquette, I said, you're about this high right now. Like, you got all this room for growth. And he's very receptive. When he makes mistakes, he always kind of looks over. That's just how I was as a player. I always looked over at the coach. Of course the coach saw. And he wants to do better. He wants to grow. But I really appreciate the fact that he doesn't back down from anyone, even if they have 2-3 more years of experience than him.
And I know you said in post-game, winning is hard, winning in the Big East is even harder. And one of your players said after the game, like, those are games that we maybe would have lost earlier in the year. So is this a great sign of, like, the growth of how your team's able to win these games?
Well, I think it's a great sign of defensive growth. I think when you only score 60 points like we did against Butler, there's certainly some things offensively you got to look at and say, okay, what do we need to do better against a team defending this way? And then just some turnovers that you'd like to have back, some plays that you'd like to have back, and even some shots that guys didn't take that you want guys to take. But, I mean, let's be honest, Sophia, through the first probably 10, 12 games, it was, can they win close games? The close games they've been in, they've lost. So, there's always going to be something that people are going to be able to find and critique. But the reality is we want to continue to grow. Our guys love each other. They love playing together. They love being together. We go on road trips and we spend a lot of time together and give each other energy. And so my point to our guys is let's just embrace the heck out of every opportunity we have, whether it's home or on the road, and let's support the heck out of each other because we know what we're trying to do is hard. We know being a team that's had a pretty good season, other teams are going to try to come after us. Great. That's a situation that our guys have put us in, and it's awesome, and we're going to embrace it.
Shaka Smart's interview is presented by Wintrust, Wisconsin's bank, the official banking partner of Marquette University.
Golden Eagles fans, open a Marquette checking account with Wintrust Wisconsin's bank today and score golden perks like a $50 opening bonus, free ATMs nationwide, and your very own exclusive MU Golden Eagles debit card. Rep the blue and gold at home or on the road. And don't miss this golden opportunity to let everyone know. Scan now to open your account today. Wintrust Wisconsin's bank, proud to be the official bank of Marquette University.
Now's the time for a healthy start. So let's move. Let's rest and recharge. And put our health first. Let's be well. To do that, let's eat well. Breathe deep. Find joy in the little moments. And do what we love with who we love. Together, let's live well. Aurora Healthcare.
When you've been injured, you need a winning team on your side. Call Gruber Law Offices today, a proud partner of Marquette Athletics. Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
We first opened during the Great Depression, and we've been open for over 85 years now. Through everything that's come our way, we've stayed open by working to make life easier, better, and fresher. By making a real difference in the communities we serve. And by being the kind of place where your money always goes a little further. That's why we're open. Come see for yourself.
Inside Marquette basketball continues here with head coach Shaka Smart here at the Al McGuire Center. And coach, we've been talking a lot about the winning streak, most recently the win against Butler, and before that another home win against Villanova. And this was a challenging game. You didn't take a lead until about midway through the second half. Villanova challenged you offensively just like Butler did. You mentioned some of the similarities there, but the way that this team was able to close it out with the run that they put together in the second half, what did they show you with how they responded?
Well, guys just stuck with it. They stuck with each other. I think one of the great things that we've seen from our players throughout this season is the willingness and ability to support each other, even when individual guys aren't necessarily playing their best. And so we had Oso, for instance, who didn't have his best game, kept battling, kept fighting, made some really good plays, but even in the midst of that, he's supporting other guys and other guys are supporting him. And that's a mark of a true team. We talk about being committed to the team ego, but it's very, very easy when things aren't going well for you to be caught up in yourself. And our guys, do a really good job of helping each other. I thought our guys throughout the game kind of figured out some ways to score, and that's what allowed us to play better in the second half.
Well, and going back prior to the Villanova game, you picked up a road win against DePaul, and the story offensively of that game, as you had mentioned earlier, you guys were able to pull away with the strong second half, and nobody was more responsible for that offensively than David Joplin with a career-high 28 points. So I want to give you some space here to talk about David Joplin.
Well, I've said it all along. Him and Cam Jones are by far our best scorers. Jop's just a guy that he's not quite all the way there yet in terms of understanding what goes into doing that on a night-in, night-out basis. But he's really given our team a lift in a lot of games, even if they're games where he's not necessarily been the leading scorer. You remember he played so well early in the year at Purdue. He's just got a knack for scoring the ball. He's got a knack for shooting the ball. He's got good size. He can score around the basket. He can draw fouls. And, he's given us a real lift coming off the bench and being a real threat to the other team to hurt them in multiple ways. So it was great to see him get going and doing Jop-like things.
You used the ceiling analogy with Chase Ross. When you look at David Joplin, the scorer that he is, the player that he is, where is he in his development?
Same. We've got so many guys on our team, particularly our freshmen and sophomores. But even the three juniors have another couple of notches that they can take. But particularly our younger guys, those guys can get so much tougher, so much more confident, so much more assertive in different situations. When a player has gone through, let's say, 100 games, played 100 games at the college level, there's no substitute for that experience, that in-game lived experience to go out there in the next game and have this confidence that you can deal with the 101 different situations that happen within a game. And you kind of got to keep your head above water first while you're a young guy and just kind of stay afloat and manage this challenge of being in the Big East. And then you kind of get your feet under you and you're like, okay, I see what's coming next. I'm going to handle that this way. Now, the flip side with that is sometimes older guys feel like they got it all figured out and they have things to learn too.
Speaking of experience, just how much of a difference is it year two for some of these players, being in the Big East, now having some familiarity with these teams, seeing them now, 3, 4, 5 times, and even for your staff as well when you're preparing to face these teams now in year two versus, jumping into a new league last year?
I think that helps, but to be honest, way more important than that, Sophia, is it's year two of our culture. And so our returning players have now had almost 2 years of time spent together, time spent with us, focused on relationships, growth, and victory, focused on all of our cultural principles like getting past hard, embracing the team ego, response. So these are all things every day that we focus on and work on and talk about. And so they just come more naturally to all of our players than they did for all of our players last year in our first year. It's not a matter of buy-in. It's a matter of, in this case, experience and understanding that the stuff that we focus on really works to help our guys play their best. You know, we've come a long way, guys. We've come a long way where we play Villanova and maybe inside our huddle and maybe even in the building, it's like we should beat these guys. Think about that. We've come a long way. But we know should is the most dangerous word in sports, right? That don't get much done for you, does it? All right? We had to get, was it seven straight stops? 7 straight. 7 straight stops, 9 out of 11 down the stretch. All right? That was the difference. That was the difference. Great job, man. Hey, guys. 8 kills, man. Yes, sir! Hey, family on 3. 1, 2, 3. Family.
Inside Marquette Basketball is brought to you by Aurora Healthcare. Live well to be well.
Now's the time for a healthy start. So let's move. Let's rest and recharge. And put our health first. Let's be well. To do that, let's eat well. Breathe deep. Find joy in the little moments. And do what we love with who we love. Together, let's live well. Aurora Healthcare.
Golden Eagles fans, open a Marquette checking account with Wintrust Wisconsin's Bank today and score golden perks like a $50 opening bonus, free ATMs nationwide, and your very own exclusive MU Golden Eagles debit card. Rep the blue and gold at home or on the road. And don't miss this golden opportunity to let everyone know. Scan now to open your account today. Wintrust Wisconsin's Bank, proud to be the official bank of Marquette University.
Mom! Yeah. So I left.
Become who you're truly meant to be. Marquette University. Be the difference.
We first opened during the Great Depression, and we've been open for over 85 years now. Through everything that's come our way, we've stayed open by working to make life easier, better, and fresher. By making a real difference in the communities we serve. And by being the kind of place where your money always goes a little further. That's why we're open. Come see for yourself.
Welcome back to Inside Marquette Basketball, here with head coach Shaka Smart. And coach, as your team continues to shine in the Big East and you continue on this winning streak, we've given a lot of attention to your point guard, Tyler Kolek, and he certainly drives this offense. He's a great leader on the floor for your team, and he's just announced as a finalist for the Bob Cousy Award for being one of the best point guards in the country. So for Tyler to be included on that short list and to be a nominee for that prestigious award, what does that say about his play?
Well, the first thing it says is that, you know, he's starting to get recognition nationally for what we've known about him for quite some time, which is he's one of the best orchestrators of offense in the country. I felt like he was last year. Now he's scored the ball better this year. He's had some huge scoring games, and then he's just been more consistent shooting the ball and finishing around the basket to go along with the same passing that he's had. You know, he's a real floor leader. He's so intelligent with reading defenses, and, you know, probably doesn't get enough credit for how tough he is. He's got great toughness and grittiness. You know, I just can't say enough positive things about him. I love having him on the team. He's one of the best guards that I've ever been around.
He's leading the Big East in assists, just under 8 per game. He's already surpassed his total from last year, and he's closing in on 200 assists on the season. Do you feel like even his passing is better than what we saw from him even a year ago?
Wow, he was really good passing last year. I think maybe he's taken another step with that, but probably more importantly, there are maybe some more passes that are available because he's gotten better with his scoring. You know, we got to this time of year last year, teams really said, hey, you're gonna have to score. We're not gonna leave anyone open when you have the ball. We're not going to let you get 8, 10 assists in a game. And, you know, sometimes it was effective against us. And what he's done in quite a few games this year is really attacked and put the ball in the basket, and that's put teams in a little bit more of a bind.
What don't we know about Tyler off the floor, whether it's as a student, as a competitor, his work ethic? What can you share about Tyler?
Well, Tyler's a lot like me in that he's pretty boring, and he is basically what you see is what you get. He's a basketball junkie. He's in here. Sometimes we'll have to kick him out of here, and then we'll come back at night and he'll be in here. It's like, dude, we told you to leave and not come back. But he just eats, sleeps, and breathes it. He watches so much tape. He's always, you know, watching other games. You know, he's got a great family. One thing some people might not know about him is, as crazy as he is about basketball, his dad is even crazier. Kevin Kolek, awesome guy, salt of the earth guy, and Tyler's got a ways to go to catch up with how many points Kevin scored when he was in college. Kevin Kolek scored over 2,000 points as a college player.
Wow.
This is how crazy Kevin is about basketball. He came on a recent trip to Milwaukee. This was, I think, in the fall or earlier in the season, and all of a sudden, at some point, he's out there playing one-on-one against, I think it was either one of our managers or one of the women's team's practice players, because he's just a basketball junkie.
Do you see any of yourself in Tyler, maybe as a player, as a guard?
The passing, yeah. I mean, he really enjoys creating offense for other guys, and that's how I was. He's a way better shooter. You know, the other thing about Tyler is he doesn't get enough credit for how quick he is. He's got very good quickness, and his mind makes him even quicker.
Tyler Kolek certainly leading this Marquette offense. Coming up, we'll take a look at what's ahead for the Marquette Golden Eagles. Inside Marquette Basketball is presented by Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
Injuries can affect every part of your life. Trust our team at Gruber Law Offices to get you back in the game. Gruber Law Offices, a proud partner of Marquette Athletics. One call, that's all.
Golden Eagles fans, open a Marquette checking account with Wintrust Wisconsin's Bank today and score golden perks like a $50 opening bonus, free ATMs nationwide, and your very own exclusive MU Golden Eagles debit card. Rep the blue and gold at home or on the road. And don't miss this golden opportunity to let everyone know. Scan now to open your account today. Wintrust Wisconsin's Bank, proud to be the official bank of Marquette University.
Now's the time for a healthy start. So let's move. Let's rest and recharge. And put our health first. Let's be well. To do that, let's eat well. Breathe deep. Find joy in the little moments. And do what we love with who we love. Together, let's live well. Aurora Healthcare.
We first opened during the Great Depression, and we've been open for over 85 years now. Through everything that's come our way, we've stayed open by working to make life easier, better, and fresher. By making a real difference in the communities we serve. And by being the kind of place where your money always goes a little further. That's why we're open. Come see for yourself.
Inside Marquette Basketball is presented by Wintrust, Wisconsin's Bank, the official banking partner of Marquette University. Aurora Healthcare, live well to be well. And by Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all. Welcome back inside Marquette Basketball. And Coach, I know you want to keep the winning streak going. You're going to have a 2-game road trip here, UConn, and then over the weekend you'll be playing Georgetown before you return home to host Xavier. I know everyone's looking forward to that game. So what are the challenges for your team just managing what's next?
Well, I think the most important thing, as we talked about going into Villanova, is focus on what's important now. It's really, really easy when you get to this time of year to kind of look ahead to maybe, you know, games against certain teams or even the postseason. But the reality is, to be your best, you have to be all in the present. And that's even starting in practice. So just enjoying each other's company, being together, and trying to embrace the challenges that we have, the immediate challenge that we have in the present. And then if you do that, then all of a sudden time will fly, and it'll be, March before we know it.
Can you give us an update on Sean Jones? You've been without him for the last couple of games with a wrist injury. What's his status, whether he'll be able to rejoin you on the floor?
It's still up in the air. He has an injury with his wrist that it bothers him at different times, and it is on his right hand, which is obviously his dominant hand. He wants to be able to go play, and I think he and our training staff and doctors are still trying to work through what the best approach is moving forward for him. So don't really have much of an update for you. He hasn't played for the last 3 games. If he can go out there and play, obviously we love the energy he brings, but it's only if he's comfortable doing that.
One last question for you, Coach. Just regarding lineups and rotations, you've been very fortunate, the continuity of your starting lineup, how efficient they've been. How much is that the reason why this team is having the success that they're having?
Well, I think all of our guys are the reason why we've had the success we've had, but certainly the starting lineup statistically has been very, very effective. And I think the reason is because we have a very good blend of defense, offense, guys that like each other, guys that play well off each other. A guy like Omax Prosper brings something that's very, very unique that the other guys in that starting lineup don't do. Stevie Mitchell, he brings his own unique blend. And then obviously Cam, Oso, and Tyler, just the way that those guys manage the game offensively is really special.
All right, that's a wrap on this edition of Inside Marquette Basketball here with head coach Shaka Smart. Coach, thanks so much for the time and good luck on the road. We'll see you back here at home when the Golden Eagles play Xavier.
This has been a presentation from Learfield.